Hey y'all, it's Fortune Frankly and welcome to Fortune Frankly Fridays, where we do DIY home decor and more. I'm going to give you a wild guess as to what we're doing today. Between the outfit and the video title, I'm hoping that you guessed it's dark academia. This video is part of my internet aesthetics series where I make DIYs based on the kind of visual principles of various aesthetics. I've already done videos on cottagecore and witchcore, and I'll leave them in a playlist linked up above. Now, just like a lot of other internet aesthetics, dark academia first became popular on Tumblr in the 2010s and has recently had a resurgence on TikTok. Dark academia itself draws inspo from classic literature, Greek and Gothic architecture, and intellectualism that harkens back to various times in European and American history, like the Romantic era and the Renaissance. When you think of dark academia, you might think of old private university campuses, 1930s and 40s prep school uniforms, and museum exhibits. I do want to acknowledge some issues that have been raised with dark academia as an aesthetic. One is that it perpetuates the idea of a stressed and depressed student, one who's constantly studying, has a horrible sleep schedule, and lives off of coffee. Can't say I'm speaking from experience because I value my sleep, but yeah, I feel that. The aesthetic also relies very heavily on Eurocentric ideas of culture and education, which can lead to exclusion of others. But I want to make it clear that anyone can participate in dark academia, and it can easily be transformed and tailored to fit your own traditions. On the positive side, dark academia, when compared to other aesthetics like cottagecore, are seen to be much more affordable. You can easily thrift pieces for dark academia and sit down and read a book. Whereas it might be a little bit harder to find a home in the countryside and spend your days crafting. Some of us have to work, okay? I will leave some links to fantastic videos about dark academia by Shakespeare and Alice Capel in the description. With that, let's get started. For our first project, we are making a handwritten framed letter. Although it's kind of semi-framed because it's not really in a frame, but you'll see. For this project, you'll need an antique looking easel or frame, a small piece of glass, and a thin Sharpie. Taking our piece of glass, I'm actually going to write a handwritten letter on it in cursive. I practiced my cursive a little bit on this paper just to see how much would fit on the glass, and practiced my lowercase d's because those are hard for me. I do realize I'm probably one of the last generations to learn cursive in school. I was taught in the 3rd grade, but I haven't looked back since, so I definitely needed some practice. Handwritten notes and letters, as well as cursive, are pretty popular in the dark academia and the academia aesthetic in general. But if you don't know how to write cursive, an italicized script also works. If you make a mistake, you can easily go in with some rubbing alcohol and a cloth, preferably a microfiber cloth, and erase. I did write a love letter on this, which I feel like it was fitting, but I know you want to know what it says, so I'll read it to you. My dear beloved, whilst deep within the pages of literature and theory at university, my mind constantly wanders to you. I hear your voice narrating the words on the page. Though the distance between our bodies has grown, the distance between our hearts narrows with each passing day. Upon our reunion, my mind will make way for my heart, my books for my attention. With great love and kindness, your Beau. And once we're finished, we're going to place that glass on top of the easel. Bam! For project numero 2, we are decorating a mug using a decoupage technique. I don't know if the emphasis or pronunciation was needed there, but I felt like it. Quick disclaimer that this is not a mug that you should drink out of, you know, unless you want like, I don't know, tuberculosis or something. For this project, you'll need a mug, Mod Podge, and the pages of a book. Estoy sudando. Listen, y'all, I'm wearing a turtleneck and a blazer to come to you with the looks for this video. And it is as hot as Michael B. Jordan in here, so I'm sweating. But I have suffered through it for y'all. Starting with the book, I'm gonna cut out the binding and all the pages with it. We'll actually be using the cover for our next project. I thought it was interesting to note that this book is from the 80s, so it's not antique, but at the time it was written, Andy Warhol was still alive. I'm going to rip out some pages from the book. This book contains quotes from famous people in history, and I'm going to rip out some pages containing quotes from people like Sylvia Plath, Stevie Wonder, Muhammad Ali, and Shakespeare. Wanted to do a timeout here and acknowledge that you might recognize this blazer, that book, and the easel that we used in the first project from my thrift store trip. I went to the thrift store a couple of weeks ago to make a thrift flip video for y'all, and you should check it out. This is my first time trying decoupage on my channel, but it was a pretty simple technique to try out. You'll first want to lay some Mod Podge down on your mug, take a ripped up piece of paper, spray it with some water on the front and back, and lay that on the Mod Podge. We're going to continue doing this all throughout the mug, just kind of pasting paper where it looks nice and where it covers the mug. It doesn't have to line up perfectly, in fact it should look more like a collage. After laying down our paper all around the mug, we're going to go in with a layer of Mod Podge. I'm going in with a matte finish on the outside of the mug. I'm going to let it sit for 20 minutes before putting on one last coat of the Mod Podge, and you should see that the paper will start to harden to the point where it's really kind of stuck to that mug. AKA those pages are not going anywhere, trust me. Now this is still looking a little bit bright for the dark academia. You know, we gotta bring in some dark colors. So I'm gonna use this bronze paint on the handle and the inside, although when I tried it, it was looking like really streaky, and decided to spray paint both the handle and the inside of the mug this really nice bronze color. And I'll be using this mug as a nice vase. For our third and final project, we are making a book bag. No, we are not talking about that JanSport book bag, okay? But come on. But we are literally making a book bag, or a bag out of a book. For this project, you'll need the outer shell of a hardcover book, fabric, cardstock, some glue, bag handles, and some ribbon. Starting with the shell of the book that we cut out our pages for in the last project, we're going to measure out some fabric that will be the lining for the inside. And I'm going about an inch larger on all four sides. I followed a DIY tutorial on countryliving.com for this project, and I'll leave that linked below. Now, taking a sheet of paper, I'm going to stand my book up and kind of open it at an angle that looks good. This will be how wide you want your bag to open, so make sure that it's wide enough so you can get your stuff out. We need access over here. I'm going to use that as a template when cutting out pieces of fabric. And in total, I'm going to cut out 4 pieces. I'm just going to fold the fabric so I can cut 2 pieces out at a time, because we want our sides to be double lined since this fabric is pretty thin. And I'm going to glue the 2 corresponding pieces together using some fabric glue. Going back to the book cover, I'm going to cut out some strips of our ribbon. I'm going to glue the ribbon down to the inside of the book. I'm going to pull the ribbon through the slot in the handle and then glue it back down to itself. Taking our side pieces that we cut out using the template, I'm going to glue that to both sides of the spine of the book. And to reinforce that spine, now that the actual paper is gone, I'm going to cut out some pieces of cardstock, 2 pieces to be exact, and glue them in the middle. Now this may be a little hard to see because it was really hard to film, but I'm going to glue the side panels to the top and bottom edges of the book. Now I'm going to take that lining, which was the first piece that we cut out, and glue it to the inside of the book. Starting on one end, I'm going to glue it down, glue down the sides all the way to the middle of the book where the binding is, and then come back up on the other side. You can trim away any excess fabric just so things are nice and neat. And I needed a little reinforcement on the edges, so I went back to that ribbon and I glued it to the side panels, kind of like a trim. This was really important to create a little bit more rigidity. I kind of creased them a little bit so that when it closes, the side panels go into the bag instead of going outside. And there you have it, a place to put all of your cash. And of course your books, which would be pretty meta, like a book within a book. Alright, welcome back. So this video was a lot of fun to make. I really enjoy these internet aesthetic videos and it seems like you do too, so thank you for watching. And if you have any ideas on future aesthetics that you want me to cover, leave them in the comments below. I read all of them. If I had to choose a favorite project, I would say it's number 3, that book bag, simply because it's something people outside of my house and outside of this channel can see, and if they ask, I can say I made it. But I'm curious to know, what was your favorite project from this video and what is something that you would like to try out? If you're feeling lucky, you can go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. And if you're not feeling lucky, I'm so sorry, but I hope to see you again in the near future. And as always, thanks for watching.